Hi, my name is Lisa and welcome to my channel. Today I have got a fun project to complete. I'm so excited. We are going to make a non-standard card using our Cricut Joy and Card Mat. Now I'm going to use the A6 size cards. I bought mine from K-Mart. They're Anko branded. I'm also going to use some cardstock as well, which is 210 GSM. I've also picked that up from K-Mart. If it is the first time you're watching me, make sure it is not the last. Go ahead and click that subscribe button and hit the notification bell. So let's get started with the new project. So we're going to click on New Project. We are going to check that our machine is set to Cricut Joy. And if you want to follow along with the measurements I'm using today, you might want to check that your settings are set to metric, which is just over here. The rest of the options are up to you. So next we're going to create the base of our card. So we're going to create a little area for us to work in. So it's going to be really easy for us to see what we're doing. So I'm super excited. We're now going to create that base. So we're going to go to Shapes. We are going to go to Square. We are going to unlock our square, and then we're going to put in 9.7 and 14.3, and we're going to push enter. Now we're going to push this into the top left hand corner. Now I'm going to change this from cut to draw. I'm going to change this to a 0.3mm blue pen because I know with my Cricut Joy that it draws first. Now if we're going to do the inside of the card as well, we're going to press duplicate and we're going to get this one out of the way. So this is the outline of our card. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to design inside of it. So next we're going to go to images. So I'm going to type in fathers. That's bringing up lots of things, but you can see some of them have got a little price tag attached to them. If you have Cricut Access, some of these will also be included in your membership as well. Now, I don't have Cricut Access, so I'm going to go to Ownership, press Purchased, and Free, and now I can see what's coming up. So I'm going to select one of these free options here. Now, it's come up with the corners and everything. We know this isn't going to work for us, so we are going to pop in 8.7 and we're going to see that it comes up with 11.419. Now, I'm quite happy with that. That'll keep the dimensions of this card looking exactly the same. But that's up to you whether you want to stretch it and have everything stretched or not. So we want to center it. We're going to pop 0.5 in the x-axis and hit enter. We're going to, and I'll work out the number and I'll pop it in the description box below, okay? So all these dimensions that I'm using today are going to be in the description box below. So we're going to pop 1.44 in this y-axis here. And that's going to center our card. That looks great. We also need to remember what these dimensions are. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to create a shape. We'll create a square. We're going to push it away. We're going to unlock the dimensions of this shape. And we want it to be exactly the same size as this Father's Day square. So we want it to be 8.7 by 11.419. Now that is going to be the cut we do for the insert. That's all we need to do with that one. We can lock it back again to make sure we don't touch it. Now here, I'm going to click on this pen. I am going to go ahead and change it to the red pen because I know that prints second. You can also change the color of the cardstock if you want to see what it's going to look like. But that's, again, completely up to you. So to change the cardstock, you would click on Basic Cut. And then you've got all these different colors to choose from. And if you go to Advanced, you can pick any color. Now for the fun bit. Let's write in this card. This is all where you get to customize everything. So we're going to go Text. We're going to type to Dad. It's going to come up wherever it feels like. I'm going to move this card a bit down because every time I push on the font, it's going to come down on me. I'm going to say to Dad. I'll make it a bit smaller. I'll make it more centered. It's telling me my pen is not compatible. So I'm going to go ahead and change that to my favorite red pen. Now when I load this, I load whatever pen I want. I just make the colors so that it fits nicely on the screen. And also I sort my colors so if I have a particular order I want it to draw in. So we're saying to Dad. we're going to say Happy Father's Day. So I'm going to say happy. Again, it's telling me my pen is not compatible. I'll click there, pen, change my pen to my red pen again. Now I'm going to give this a little bit of a curve. So we're going to go around this way. I'm going to make it a bit smaller. This looks good. So we've got happy. Might make it a bit smaller. Make the curve a bit less. Make it a bit smaller. And again, you want to change that pen. Now I'm going to get the kids to write something at the bottom of this card. So I'm going to leave everything which as much space for them to write at the bottom. So you might want to center this. You might want to put an image on it. It's completely up to you. So I'm not happy with that. Adjust it a bit more. Just want a little bit. That's better. We can also put an image if we want, but we definitely want to draw this image. I don't want to cut something. Maybe we put award. Again, I don't want to cut out on my card, so I'm going to pick a pen. I want this all in my black pen. I'm going to design it all as a red. There we go. And then I'm going to leave space to write, hand write at the bottom. There we go, I'm happy with that. That's looking very cute. Something very cute to give for the girls to give their dad for Father's Day. And it's got enough room for them to write at the bottom as well. So it does have enough room for them to write at the bottom as well, but you can also go ahead and keep typing, keep writing, keep adding images. Just make sure you swap everything to pen if you don't want to cut through that inside of your card. Alright, so now's the time. So now we're going to save our card. I'm going to put Now, I always recommend saving your card, even if you're planning on deleting that project straight afterwards. And the reason being is if something goes wrong, that way you can go right back to it. So now we're saved. Now next, we want to attach. So we want to select everything on the front of the card and click attach. And we're going to select everything on the inside of that card and click attach. And you can pop that back up just for neatness and hit save. So now we've got our three sections of our card, which are looking super cute and super ready. So we've got the front, the card insert, and we've got the inside of the card. So next, we're going to go ahead and we're going to click Make It. So after we wait it, it'll ask you if you want how you want to load all of your materials onto this project. So you can choose either do it your card mat or multiple ways. Now I'm going to use the card mat for the inside of the card and the front of the card, but I'm going to use a regular mat to cut out that insert. I'm going to select manually load. So first up, it's got the inside of the card. You want to load this into the top left hand corner. That's very important. Next up, it's cutting my insert. You're going to select whatever you're going to put the insert cut in. I'm going to say on a mat. And I'm going to position this wherever I intend to line this up on my mat. Now, I'm going to put mine in the top left, but if you keep using the top left hand corner of your mat, you're going to wear that section of the mat out quicker than everywhere else. So you might want to choose to move it around. And lastly, it's asking for the front of the card. And for this, I'm going to say on the card mat. And again, I have to make sure I push it into that top left hand section. And then we're ready to press continue. Now it's time to turn on our machine. Very exciting. So we're going to turn on our Cricut Joy by plugging it into the power. We are going to locate our card mat. We're going to get the pen or pens that we're going to use. We're going to check that we've got our blade handy. We're going to look for our tools. And if you are using a second mat, grab that out as well. So you also want all your materials ready. So you want your blank card that you're going to print on, and you want the cardstock that is ready to be cut down to the size that we have chosen. So now we're going to make sure we start at step 1, and then it's asking us to select our material, which in this case, I'm going to choose medium cardstock, and I'm going to select more pressure. Now it's asking us to load the first pen, which is the quote-unquote blue pen, and then it will ask us to load the quote-unquote red pen. Now I do this so it will draw the border first and I can work out whether I want to continue with my project. So next up, it's time to load our card, and because we're working on the inside of the card first, we want to make sure that we turn our card inside out to make sure that the inside is the part that is on top of that mat. When we do this, we want to make sure we line up the top of the card with the blue line. If you push it all the way to the top, there can be up to a millimeter difference. So you want to make sure that you've got it right on that line. Once we're happy, I'm going to go ahead and stick my card down to the card mat. And I like to use my scraper just to make sure that we get that little bit of extra hold and avoid as many fingers as we possibly can on that card mat. Now let's load that mat, and it's going to check our materials for us. And just double check you have put a pen in. And now we're going to push go, and then we're going to watch our Cricut Joy work its magic and draw that border. Next up, it's going to ask you to change the pen to the red pen. Now I'm going to keep going with the black pen, so I'm just going to go ahead and push go again. Now that's the end of step 1. Now it's going to ask us to unload our mat and get ready for step 2. So step 2 is to find a piece of cardstock. I have got mine from a K-Mart Anko brand and it's 210 GSM, and I just need to cut it down to the size to fit on my mat. Now I'm going to attach it to my mat to match the grid on the screen. Now I'm going to prop it on my mat and I'm going to attach it with my scraper just to give it that little bit extra pressure and avoid as many fingers as possible on my dirty mat. Now we're going to also swap that tool over to the blade because we are just going to do a quick cut with this one. It's just to make that little insert card. Now when we're ready, we just load our materials. It's going to check for materials. And when we're good, we can press go. And we're going to do a very simple cut. Now next up, we're going to press unload. And then we need to carefully weed this off the mat. So I have found that if I carefully peel up the edges and then fold along the cut line, that gives me the best outcome. If you do have any weeding tips for me though, I would love to hear from you in the comments box below. Next, we carefully remove this inside card off our mat, making sure we don't curl it. Next, pop that dust cover back on your mat and we can pop that mat away for now. Now we are on to step 3 of this cut and draw. So now we're going to go back to our card mat and it's going to ask us what material we are using again. Again, I'm going to select medium cardstock and I'm going to select more pressure. So we want to peel off the card and we are going to refold it so that the front of the card is now on the front of the mat. Again, we need to line that card up with the blue line and not just rely on the guides on the mat itself. Then we are going to again use that spatula to stick down that card to the card mat. Again, just to get that little bit of extra pressure to stick the card to the card mat while avoiding as many fingers and finger oils as getting onto your card mat as possible. Now we've got the blade in the machine, so we are going to need to change it over to our preferred pen. This first pen is going to be the pen that draws the border. So it's going to ask you for a quote-unquote blue pen. I'm just going to use the black pen this entire way through. So now we load our mat. You have to make sure you completely unload the mat before it will allow you to load it again. Now it's checking for materials. And when we're happy, we can press continue. And we're going to let that Cricut Joy work its magic. It's going to show us that our card is perfectly aligned. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to push go again. It's asking for a red pen, but I was going to use the black pen all the way through. almost done with that pen, and now it's going to ask us for a tool change. So now it's time to get that blade, and we're going to unclick our pen, and we are going to pop that blade back in and click it right back in and press go again. Oh, look at that. It's looking really good. Now it's going to ask us to unload our mat. And we are going to press unload, and then we are going to finish. Looking good so far. So next up, we want to peel off this card very carefully and trying to get as much of the card mat to do the weeding for us. So you want to make sure that as much of the little scraps end up staying on the mat. So for a few of them, I like to push a few down if they're not coming off, and you want to make sure you get it right first time. So we're going to peel it all off. Look at that. Next up, I'm going to finish off the last few. Wow, that's looking really good. We're almost done. So next up, it's going to ask us to unload our mat. It's going to unload the mat, and then it's going to ask us if we want to finish, and I'm going to say yes. So next up, we have got the task of weeding our card. Now, the idea of these Cricut Joy Card Mats is they say that they do most of the weeding for you, but what I find, and I'm not a great weeder, so if you do have any tips for me, I would love to hear from you in the comments box below. Now, I want to try and make sure as much of these little dots that is a little cutout stay on the mat when I peel off that card. So I'm going to use my weeding tool to make sure that that happens. Then it's time to scrape off that mat, put the dust cover back on it, and now we're going to finish off that card. So we're going to grab that little insert card piece that we put, and we're going to pop it into the back of this card. Pop our four corners in. They should just slide in nicely. there's our card. Now, if you wanted to, you could go ahead and find those little letter cutouts and glue them in. But I think it looks super cute just the way it is. And there we have our card. It's super cute, super easy, and using budget materials. If you liked the video today, please go ahead and give this video a huge thumbs up for me. If it is the first time you're watching me, make sure it is not the last. Go ahead and click that subscribe button and hit the notification bell so that you are amongst the first to know when I release a new video. Thanks for watching.